Good morning, class. Today, we will continue our discussion on the subject reading and writing skills. In our previous lesson, we talked about the techniques in selecting and organizing information. Under that, we had a discussion about the different reading strategies that you can use in order to help you understand a written text. Today, in this lesson, we will focus on understanding about the patterns of development. Topics necessary to understand are the writing process, parts of a paragraph, qualities of a good paragraph, means to achieve coherence, and patterns of development. But for today, we will limit our discussion to the writing process. Let us now begin our discussion by understanding the basic concept, which is writing. Writing is a difficult task for almost all of us, and usually, this skill is often associated to intellectual people. That is, if you can write a very good text or a written output, you are considered to be an intelligent one. This is quite true because we know various writers, scientists, journalists, script writers, and on any other related jobs who are prominent or famous in their fields of expertise who are actually capable of writing because these people have a lot in their mind and they have a lot to say, and so they write them up. Writing is a skill. According to Noonan in 2003, writing is the combination of mentally inventing ideas, thinking how to express them, and organizing them into sentences and paragraphs that will make sense to the reader. What does he mean when he said that? What he meant was that writing is a skill, and most skills, in order to be mastered, takes a lot of effort, like mentally inventing ideas of what to include in the text. You also have to understand how will you express it, like how will the readers understand your write-up easily. You also have to organize your thoughts in order for the readers to make connections among ideas that you have shared. Now, writing is also a form of art. Of course it is. Why? Because art is a form of self-expression. That is what we do in writing. We express ourselves freely by writing down what we have in our mind, what we have in our thoughts, or what we actually feel. We all write them down. Through writing, we are able to say what we have in mind and what we want to express. That is writing as an art. Finally, writing is said to be a process. Yes, definitely. It is a process because it undergoes a specific procedures in order to come up with a very good output. It involves a step-by-step procedure and not just think of ideas, put them into sentences and voila, that's it. No, there is a process that we need to have undergone through to come up with a very good output. What are these procedures in order to come up with a well-written text? First is pre-writing, followed by drafting, revising, editing, and proofreading, and the final stage, that is publishing. Let us start discussing these different procedures. Let's begin it by understanding what pre-writing is. Pre-writing is the planning stage. This is the stage when you have to collect ideas and gather them together before you put them together. It is also the first step of identifying the purpose of writing. As the writer, you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of writing? Is it to inform the audience or the readers? Is it to inspire them or to persuade them? We can actually follow these techniques in generating our topic during the planning stage. We have different techniques like listing or brainstorming, free writing, clustering or concept mapping, journal writing, and outlining. To remember it better, you have to memorize or remember the acronym FCJLO. FCJLO. FCJLO stands for free writing, concept mapping, journal writing, listing, and outlining. Again, remember FCJLO. F stands for free writing. Free writing is when you write whatever is about the topic without considering the mechanics such as spelling and punctuations, and even the text structure or the sentence structure. All you have to do is to write whatever that pops out your head without considering much of what you are to write. Next is the concept mapping. Concept mapping is a technique that lets you narrow a broad topic into more specific topics. It is when you have to think for a general or a big idea until you narrow it to a more specific idea. For example, you have to think of different reading strategies. Reading strategies is a general idea or a big idea. Then, you have to provide examples of reading strategies. For example, getting an overview, using context clues, and using connotation and denotation, which are actually the specific ideas of the general idea reading strategies. So we have the general idea reading strategies, specific ideas, getting an overview, using context clues, and using connotation and denotation. That is concept mapping. Next is journal writing. Journal writing is more of a personal writing where you have to include your own experiences, your own thoughts, and opinions about the topic. So this journal writing is too personal for you so that you can share more about the topic. Next is listing. Listing is when you jot down all the ideas in your head about the topic. You have to get a piece of paper and write them down vertically from up or from the top to down manner. Lastly, the letter O, which is outlining. Outlining, on the other hand, is the last technique in which you have to do as the writer is to organize your thoughts in a linear way from top to bottom. It includes Roman numerals, letters, and numbers. There you have to begin thinking of general ideas too, down to specific ideas, just like what you do in concept mapping and also in listing. Now to recap, one of the procedures in writing is the pre-writing stage. Let's remember the FCJLO. F stands for free writing, C stands for concept mapping, J stands for journal writing, L stands for listing, and O stands for outlining. Now, let's go back. Writing is a process that involves different procedures. We're already done with the first step, that is pre-writing. Now it's time to move to the next step, which is drafting. If in pre-writing, you have to conceptualize ideas which you will include in the paper. In drafting, you have to put your ideas into sentences and paragraph where you start arranging your ideas in a way that readers would better understand your message. It is when you have to make sure that ideas are properly organized in a more logical way, in a way that the reader can understand it. Next step is the revising. Revising is when you have to do the first reading of your paragraph and start rearranging your sentences when necessary. You may also add more ideas if you think that you are lacking that in your paragraph. You may also remove words or ideas which you believe are not or no longer important to include. The next step is editing and proofreading. Editing and proofreading is the procedure that involves a careful reading of the paragraph or essay. Editing is checking whether you have achieved the purpose you have set at the pre-writing stage. Does it sound informative? Is it inspiring? Or is it persuasive? While when we say proofreading, it is when you have to check the mechanics and conventions of your paper. Mechanics including spelling and punctuations, while checking the convention means checking the grammar. Simply say, editing and proofreading is the checking of purpose, spelling, punctuations, and grammar. Now, last but not the least, we're now at the last procedure, which is publishing. Publishing is when you have to share your final output by submitting it to your teacher, or you can post it on social media or share it to your personal website. So again, these are the different procedures that you have to undergo through in order to come up with a well-written text. Let's do a recap. The different procedures or the steps that you have to undergo through are pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing and proofreading, and lastly is publishing. Okay, now I guess we have to stop from here and have some rest because on the next meeting we're going to have our quiz about this discussion. Thank you for listening, grade 11. See you in our next video. Bye!